I started the show by saying yes, and then realised I was on mute, so changed it to no. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Hello, hello, hello. When will these international breaks just go away? I'm missing club football. I don't know about you lot. Really, really missing club football. Not even just Tottenham, just missing club football. The games, the intensity, the hype, the build-up. It's been really, really, really boring, isn't it? However, loads of goals last night across Europe, wasn't there? I think Germany scored loads, France, Croatia, and Spain, and Portugal, and this team and that team, and every team was scoring loads and loads of goals. I watched the Scotland-Greece game, saw that 17-year-old winger for Greece. Cut in, good finish, good player, 17 years of age, definitely one to watch. But today, we're going to be talking a little bit. I'll have some guests joining me throughout the morning. Of course, we will. I'll say hello to all you lot in a minute. But we're going to look forward to, the game is in 10 days' time. 10 bloody days. 10 days' time where we will be playing Chelsea away. London derby at Stamford Bridge. Yeah. We don't do very well there, do we? We'll come to that in a minute. That will be the main talking point for today. Some loose transfer links and connections that we can talk about this morning. But wanted to say a massive thank you to you lot, first and foremost. A huge thank you to everybody. Over the weekend, we did manage to hit 5 million views on the channel, which is, I didn't even know it was coming up. I got a message from YouTube going, hey, milestone, 5 million views. I was like, well, hey, if only for every million views you got £1 million. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. But thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. It's a lot of hard work and effort that goes into thumbnails, guests, different shows, watch-alongs, time away from family. So, but hey, this is the club we love, right? So we can talk about it. We can talk about it as much as we like. So big up to each and every one of you. Thank you very, very much. I mean, yesterday we had the Legends game, right? The Legends game. Some of them look like they do the job. Some of them look like they do a job in this team. I'll be honest, Robbie Keane looked grossly overweight. You would expect at 40, whatever age he is, still look better than Dominic Solanke. It was a treat yesterday, wasn't it? Seeing the Legends game, seeing, a hat trick from Robbie Keane, a wonderful free kick from Andre Pirlo. Oh, what a footballer he was. Aaron Lennon beating men, taking players on. Jermaine Defoe still got it, isn't he? Jermaine Defoe still got it. So, and I thought Dawson at the back was very good. So, very, very interesting game yesterday. Let me know in the chat what you thought about that. By the way, breaking news is that Liverpool defender Jarell Quansah replaces Livramento in the matchday squad, while Morgan Gibbs-White included for injured Anthony Gordon. There you go. Breaking news. Apparently, I don't think it's massive breaking news, is it? But there we are. Yeah. Newcastle defender Livramento left out of England squad for World Cup qualifier with Latvia tonight. There you go. So we'll be doing that game tonight on Big Up, by the way. I've got a lot of content for you today, just to try and help you through these barren international weeks. Today, we're live right now. I'm going to transfer you all over at 11:45. I've got a video called Spurs Free Transfer Raid. We're looking at what it means to not qualify in Europe and what free transfers have Spurs being linked with. Because if we don't qualify for Europe, guys, the money's going to be tighter, and the wages that Daniel Levy skimps out on, you would probably think he will do it even more without European football. So I have a video on FHTV Plus at 11:45 that I'm going to transfer you all over to. If you could please watch and give me some love on that. Talking about 4 separate players that Spurs have been linked with who are in the free transfer market. So lots going on there. Then at 6 o'clock, we have got the Football Collective with all the fans from the other clubs as well that will come on. We'll talk all things football. Trent Alexander-Arnold looks like he's signing for Real Madrid. We'll have a look at that. We'll have a look at who's fancy to win the Champions League. We'll have a look at, is this the most boring Premier League season ever? The league's done from a title perspective. The relegation perspective is done. Is this the most boring Premier League ever? So we'll be looking at things like that. Then tonight on Big Up at 7:30, I want to say. Let's just check. Let me double check for you what today is. Today England are playing, aren't they? Yeah, today England are kicking off at 7:45. I'll be live from 7:30 on Big Up, bringing you England versus Latvia. And let's hope it's better than that dross the other night. 1 million passes to go absolutely nowhere. But let's start as we mean to go on this morning. Let's say hello to a few people. First of all, good morning to Anthony Clark. Early doors with the super stickers. Big up, Anthony. I'm not someone who gets a lot of super stickers, super chats, and members. So thank you. When I do, it's lovely. If anyone did want to be a member, then please feel free to do so. And thank you very much. As I said, the 5 million views. We are not far, guys. We are not far away from the 17,000, which feels like it's taking forever to get to. It feels like it's taken months and months and months. We are now 93 away from that. So big up to Anthony Clark. Good morning to you. Good morning to, let's have a look at a few people who are in the house. I won't be able to say hello to everyone. Big up to Daniel. Yeah, I would take the phone Lennon right now. Berber's just different gravy, isn't he? He really, really is. Good morning to George, my main man. How you doing, bro? Hope you're well. The Aussie Ange haters in here. Dan Skyline's in here. Good evening or morning to you, wherever you are. Big up to, who's this? It's me. Smash those likes, people, as you come in. Say hello with a like. There's the best thing you can do. Say hello with a like. Big up to Marianne. Big up to Mark Taylor. Anthony Clark in the house as well, having a little dig. Cheeky Arsenal fans. Mike Pepper in there. Hello to you, Mike. Big up to Dean, to Marshall, Tony Rodriguez in the house. How you doing? Jimmy Hotspur. Danny Taylor's here. The Sheriff. Singularity. Who we got? Matt. Oh, he started already. You can see us putting Chelsea to the sword. Yeah. Yeah, we were absolutely pants for the last 3 league games. But don't worry. Matt says we're going to put Chelsea to the sword. Singularity. Can we get Robbie King fit? I think he could do it without being fit. Big up to THFC. Big up to It's My Face. Joey Barton. Gus Parker. Jason. Mate, he's relentless. It doesn't matter, Jason, how wrong he's been. He just keeps saying it. I love it. Fans like that need to be commended. If you just say, we're winning today, we're winning today, we're winning today, I start to not take you seriously. Maybe you can say, I want to win, but just to say you're going to win every game seems a little bit childish, doesn't it? Alfie Hall, again, he's going to go to a bigger club than us. If you're talking about Houston, he is now in the Spain national team. He is not joining Tottenham Hotspur. He is not going to join Tottenham Hotspur. Come on, Matt, get real. And he is a quality young centre-half. He ain't going to Tottenham. Look how many clubs need centre-halves. Newcastle, Chelsea, Man United, Man City, Liverpool. He ain't coming to Tottenham. He is not. Real Madrid, I could see him going somewhere like Madrid, somewhere like Barca. He's not coming to Tottenham. Yeah, we missed the boat. You've got to pick those players up before the Bournemouths do. That's where we missed the boat. Marco saying he thought Cafu played a blinder for his age. Big up to Mark Taylor. Hello. Oh, it's written in the stars. We'll get to Chelsea in a minute. It's written in the stars, isn't it? Sometimes you just know. Just like when Dominic Calvert-Lewin hadn't scored for like 16 or 17 games. Who else? Jamie Vardy. Didn't he have a goal drought? He played Spurs. Ryan Sessegnon. I mean, listen, you want to play Spurs. You want to play Spurs if you're on a goal drought. Keith Shields said, morning, Savva. Is it ever a good time to play Chelsea? We're going to get into it. And by the way, the poll in today's chat, is this a good time to play Chelsea? And there's three answers: yes, no, and never is at Stamford Bridge. At the moment, 16% have said yes, 31% have said no, and 53% have said never is at Stamford Bridge. Yeah, I mean, at some point, we're going to have to win there again, right? We'll talk about it in a minute. We will talk about it. Big up to Zelis. How we doing? Garav, Ali Garcia, Ross O'Connor in the house. Says Chelsea will have Lavia, Madueke, Jackson and Palmer all back. Yeah, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Sean Michael is here. Good morning to you. So just wait until we get the phone and compete. Yes. Sorry, it made me laugh halfway through. Oh, what I would give for a Jermaine Defoe or Robbie Keane. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Jace. How we doing? Listen, I love that we're not having to be embarrassed this window, this international break, but I do miss it. I do miss Spurs. I do. It's this love-hate relationship, isn't it? When you love something so much that you just get frustrated with them. Nabil said Chelsea away, Southampton home, Frankfurt home, Wolves away, and then Frankfurt away. Next five can only really see a win versus Southampton. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Don't you worry. Yeah, Elliot. This is what I mean. There are going to be bigger clubs that want this guy. This is the problem. There's going to be bigger clubs that want him. He's just got into the Spain team. Good morning, Lee Jennings. Don't think about the Chelsea game. It never ends well. Yeah. Chelsea, we got pumped 3-0. Garav, good morning, sir. So, Savva, give you a prediction for race for Europe. Does Palace have a chance to make it? Does Palace have a chance to make it? I think they've probably got a bit too much to do. It looks like they're coming with a good run. They've got 4 wins in their last 5. But realistically, if you look at 7th place as Europe, 8-point gap, it's a lot to turn around in 9 games, isn't it? So I don't think so. I'd like to see Palace in Europe. I think they're a good team. I think they're a really well-run little club. Big up to Joe Barton. I'm amazed that fans like Matt who say we will win vanish when we lose for a couple of days. They all do it. Oh, they all do it. They all do it. Come on. We know what it's like. Arsenal, talk that they need another centre-back. Newcastle have Dan Burn. Listen, Newcastle, if they go into the Champions League, and they're going to be in Europe next year and Champions League possibly, they need a bigger squad. Trust me, they're going to go back in for Guehi, someone like Houston. It's common sense. Williams, why the likes is so low? Come on, guys, smash the like button. Show Savva some love. Guys, I'm not going to say anything until we get to 100 likes. Just going to sit here quietly. Just kidding. Just kidding. I wouldn't do that. But we are only on 77 likes. We should be on 100 easily. So please smash that button. Marios said, big up, Savva. Morning. Morning to you. The Legends team look more dribbled than, more drilled, I guess I was meant to say, than the main team, says all you need to know. Yeah, I did see a lot of people posting about some of them looking a lot better than our first team. And thank you to whoever just subscribed. Really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Aussie Anchater said, Palace Ipswich games. Spurs will help you. Don't worry. Yeah, hadn't both teams not won a game? And then Tottenham turn up and they went, don't worry, it's only Ange ball. We'll run through you. Anyone who thinks we won't let him through is bonkers. Well, we'll get there. We're going to get there. I promise you we're going to get there in a minute. I'll have some guests coming on as well. Chelsea 3-1 says it's my face. The only good time for Spurs to play Chelsea is on the PlayStation, says Spurs Steelers. Listen, we will get into it in more detail. They've not been in great form. They've won 3 of their last 6. But I can sit here and say all I want. They're not in great form. And I'll show you the table in a minute. They are still the 4th best team in the country as of 29 games in the Premier League. Big up to Lumen. Big up to Jamie Git as well. Middle of the night. Big up, Savva. I forgot. Yes. Pride is something that, yes, we need to get that back. Brett Wenzel said, goal drought. Don't worry. Dr. Tottenham will open the floodgates for you. Money Mace. Good morning, Savva. God, I must say, it was nice to watch my country play some good football. Feel like I don't know what good football is anymore. Yeah, I agree with you. I when I watch other teams play now, I'm like, oh, proper football again, as opposed to what we're seeing at the moment. I'd like to think that it would change under this manager. I've just been waiting 2 years for it to change, and it hasn't. So, hey, as I said, I've said to you guys and girls all along, some people agree, some people don't. I genuinely don't think this squad is as bad as Ange makes it look. I genuinely think we've got some good footballers that should be doing a lot better. Good morning to Haram. Good morning to you. Good morning to Ben Holloway, who has said, I refuse to watch games against Chelsea because we never just lose. It's always, we get 58 injuries, 4 red cards, the ball deflects 3 million times. Yeah, they never seem to go well, do they, the Chelsea games? Mwaka is here as well. Good morning to you. Philly, my brother from another mother. So we're going round in that perpetual Spurs cycle again. They're going to sign quality players only for when the summer comes for those Spurs fans to make excuses for not signing quality players. Look, I think that we need to be sensible. I just don't think we're ever sensible in transfer markets. I feel that we go for very obvious, boring selections, in my opinion. Absolutely, Terry. Absolutely, my man. Hope you're well. Absolutely. All day, every day. Joey has not missed Spurs. I have. I've missed it. Listen, as much as they frustrate me, they're our club, right? It's our club. We get frustrated, but you still love them. You still miss them. Where are we? Big up, Vinny. How we doing, bro? Hope you are well. Hiram, yeah, if we're talking Houston, yeah, Housen, I think it is. Yeah, listen, I think he's going to bigger and better clubs. Again, I just don't think Matt understands it. Matt, how can we offer guaranteed game time when you've got Danso, Van der Ven, Romero, Dragoshin? Mate, Matt, you can't tell us we need to remember we're a big club when you're the one praising failure. You can't tell us we're a big club when you praise the failure, mate. That's the problem. You gotta, if you're gonna have that opinion that we're a big club, stop praising a manager that has us in 14th place in the Premier League table. Good morning to Louis Darlow. So yes, boys, let's talk distress. Distress? It's a lovely. I was going to say it's a lovely morning, Louis. It's absolutely not a lovely morning. It's very grey. It's very grey there. And down there, I've got 2 puppies sleeping side by side. So that's nice down there. Up there, very grey. Talking about puppies, Rick Kane said, morning, Savva. Been a while. How's the puppy? Good morning to you, Rick. The puppy is getting bigger and can reach higher and can jump properly. And now everything that is not pinned down to the ground gets chewed. Case in point, wife's shoe this morning. She's not going to be happy when she comes back and sees what he has done. I took my eyes off him for 2 minutes earlier. Yes. Good morning, William. Says, Savva, we need Eddie on the show again. I've not seen him since the debate. Listen, I liked Eddie. Listen, he was very passionate for what he believed in. I'm here for that. I just thought he was very wrong, and he's still being very wrong. He said, when the players come back, watch us go on a winning run. The players have come back. We look worse than ever. So I don't know what the excuse will be this time. Side Dancer, big up to you, my friend. Hope you are well. Good morning to each and every single one of you. Don't forget to vote in the poll. Vote in the poll, people. Paul O'Mahony, with a form Chelsea are in under any other manager, I'd give us a chance, but not with Ange. Well, we're going to have a look at that in a minute, because for a team that are not in great form, we say with Chelsea, they've still won 2 of their last 3 Premier League games, and they're sitting 4th in the table. So, and they do, they are up there. If they win that game, they kind of cement themselves in that top 4 race, don't they? Danny Taylor said, read that we're offering Romero a new 200-week contract. Well deserved. He's been outstanding. I'm not going to talk Romero again. Danny, you know my points. I think he's a good player. I think well overhyped. But hey, it is what it is. Good morning to Rob Welshspur. Said Craig Bellamy can set up a team better than Ange, and he's been a manager for 10 minutes. I haven't seen Wales play, but haven't they won? Is it 3 in a row, or they've not lost for 3, or whatever it is? We've not been in great form for 18 months. Oh, dearie me. Good morning, Glenn. How we doing, bro? Hope you are well. Another day in Spurs paradise. Yeah, listen, I can't believe we don't play for 10 days, but just so you know, I've got some slightly different shows coming up for you this week as gap fillers. I've actually got, on Thursday morning at 10 a.m., I'm actually doing a live show with Mickey P. Kerr. So he was a Britain's Got Talent finalist as a comedian, but he's actually written a book about almost about corruption in football and the monopolization in English football. So he's going to be doing a book launch soon. So he's coming on Thursday to talk to us about that. And he is a funny guy. So he's going to be coming on. And then on Wednesday, Luke's going to be coming on with me Wednesday evening. Luke's starting a channel, really nice lad. Very different views to me. He likes Ange. He's going to be coming on. So same club, different views is going to be on Wednesday night, Thursday morning with Mickey P. Kerr. And then Thursday, I'm going to be doing a few videos live from Leyton Orient because Lubo and I are meeting up down at the Orient to watch Leyton Orient v Stevenage Thursday night. There's no other football anywhere in Europe. We're going to the Orient, and I'm going to do a little watch for Donnelly and Keeley. And I'm going to start interviewing a few of the Orient fans to see what they make about our two kids that are on loan there. So some different things for you this week, mixing it up, keeping it fresh. That's what it's all about. So with that in mind, be nice, smash the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't. And let's get this channel to 17K. Good morning, Brett. I said, definitely can't see Ange play in a manner that will make me think confident about winning a game. So that's it, Ange out. Well, I'm not going to do the Ange out thing this morning. I'm not doing it. Gaurav, listen, I saw him do a video the other day, and I like Alan. He's a nice guy. But it's funny how he's just backtracking now on everything he said about finishing third and 81 points. It's funny now how there's just 1,000,001 excuses. The squad wasn't good enough, injuries. But yet when I said to him at the beginning of the season, our squad isn't good enough to finish third and 81 points, I was told it was. So again, it's what I mean. People can just change their mind, and that's fine, but it does make you laugh. Yeah. Clearly, that's my shoe. Yeah. Gosh, I don't know how they walk in them. I really don't. Matt, because you suggest silly things, Matt. You suggest silly things. Like, who was it the other day you were suggesting? And it was like, no, that player's never coming to Tottenham. No, I reckon we can get him. And you're like, don't you know this club and how we operate? I just don't think you get it. Bryce, how we doing? Said Stanley 1, Mrs. Savva shoe 0. Yeah, the shoe didn't stand a chance. I haven't told her yet. I will tell her, and I will blame her. I'll say that she just sort of left it in the middle of the room. She didn't, but I will do that. Big revenues don't make you a big club, as our current board and manager are proving. Good morning, all. Good morning to you, richest man. How are we doing? Elliot said players coming back from injury shows that's not the problem. It's down. I've said this all along. I will argue this till I'm blue in the face with anyone. The players missing were not the problem. When you have players missing, you can still be hard to beat. Not if you set up the way Ange does. It's not rocket science. Every pundit can see it. Every fan of every other club sees it. So they must see something. There must be something there. John, I'd take him all day long. I would take Brendan Rodgers as manager all day long. At the moment, though, listen, at the moment, this manager's going to be here to the end of the season, isn't he? But I would absolutely take him. Good morning. Good morning, Corey. How are we doing, sir?
Good morning, sir. I'm good. Mooring, what, we're going to put a boat in the dock?
Mooring. We're mooring our boats this morning down at, I'm just trying to think where my nearest docks would be. I'm in South London, so probably down by the Woolwich Ferry, somewhere like that, down by the Thames, down the Thames.
Let's go. I've got the Brighton Marina, so it's all good.
I know you've got Brighton. You've got a proper sea. I'd have to go to Woolwich, the Woolwich Ferry. Yes.
Proper sea.
Yes. Let's get to it. We have a few people joining us this morning, Corey. Look, we don't play for 10 days. Some might say that's a good thing. Others are missing it. Where are you with this? Like, in between the last game and the Chelsea game, it will end up being 19 days. For me as a YouTuber, I bloody hate it. How are you as a Spurs fan? Missing it? Happy with the break? Where you at?
Happy with the breaks. It's a good diversion, isn't it? Really, you can get away with bickering and arguing about if the players are good enough, if this manager's good enough. It's just getting a bit redundant for the last 16 to 18 months, isn't it?
It
It's
has. It
it's the
has.
same arguments nearly every day, and we seem to be bashing our heads so much against the wall because of this manager. It's just, oh god, here we go with the camera. What's going on?
There you go. It's all right. Not good cameras aren't for everyone. Don't you worry about that. Yeah, look, it's we'll bring Corey back on in a minute when he's back online. Yeah, again, it was like when Corey didn't think that Conor Gallagher was good enough for us, but he's good enough to play in Champions Leagues with Diego Simeone and Atletico Madrid, one of the best teams in world football. This is what I mean. You have to laugh. Savva, how come you're looking forward and excited? Listen, I want Premier League football back first and foremost. I wouldn't say I'm excited to play Chelsea. We never do well there, but we're going to get into that. I get so bored of international football. I'm so bored of international football. It just feels like it's a lot of nonsense all the time, international football. That shoe got torn apart like Postecoglou's tactics. Oh, Terry, naughty Terry. Jace, by the way, if Ange finds a way to win the Europa League, I don't know if I'd say legend, but he would be the most successful manager for 40 years. God knows how, with just how many games we lose. But at the end of the day, we all want to win a trophy, don't we? We all want to win the trophy. So let's hope we can batter Frankfurt. Whether we do or not, who knows? I think that we'll talk about Frankfurt a bit later. I think that we're going to win the home leg. I think they're going to win the away leg. And I think it's going to be down to who won their leg by the most, right? I think it's going to be that simple. Corey, your camera's having a nightmare, mate.
Oh, I can see that, buddy.
Yeah.
The joys of modern technology. I've just changed the ports on the back of the computer. I think that's what it is.
No worries, man. Mario said, weird how Ange is currently in Greece. Is he? I'm jealous. I wish I was in Greece. Instead of on the training pitch with the players that have stayed behind, maybe he's been sacked. Well, he's not been sacked. Listen, I tend to agree. I do think as well, though, that people do need, my opinion on Ange as a manager, I do feel that people need time off. So, I'm not going to begrudge anyone going and having some time away, whether it's a few days. We don't know what he's doing there. So I'm not going to get onto anyone's back about that. What I do hope is that the moment they're back on that training ground for Tottenham, that he is actually trying to implement a plan better than what we've seen him implement all season. Let's talk, Corey. In 10 days' time, we play Chelsea. And I want to talk about this first. I want to ask everyone in the chat this question. And by the way, tight gits, not one sub today, and only, Corey, only 130 likes. Tight. Is the Chelsea rivalry bigger than the rivalry of Arsenal these days?
No.
No? Not having it?
I'm not having it. Arsenal invaded our space, got us relegated and all that over 100 years ago. So just look down the history. I can't stand them Woolwich wankers, basically.
Yeah, I can't stand people swearing on my channel, though, as well. So please.
I'll keep hold of that.
Okay, thank you. Look, I hear you. It just feels like people seem to have a real stigma when it comes to playing Chelsea. And I don't know whether it is this terrible record we have at Stamford Bridge, but it does seem to be quite an important derby these days. What do you make of this whole record at Stamford Bridge? If somebody in the chat will tell me what it is, but it's something like one win in, I want to say 30 years. I might be making that up. I'm pretty sure it's very, 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 very scarce that we beat them at their ground. Can someone in the chat let us know, why are we so bad at Stamford Bridge?
Must be a curse or a voodoo. I'm sure of it. And only once when the planets align and the moon's at a full we ever beat them. So
But footballing wise, come on, footballing wise. I'm trying to get a football conversation going here, Corey. You're not helping me out.
Footballing wise, it's do we ever win really there? The question is, every manager that's tried in the last 5-6 years, we never seem to get a result there. So they always thank us the 3 points, and then we move on in that sense, don't we?
Yeah, it's been tough. Like I appreciate that Chelsea have had mostly better teams than us for the last however many years. And a lot of people are actually saying this is a good time to play them. And hence the question that I asked, is it a good time to play them? As you'll see by the question mark. Actually, I should probably change. I've put a morning chat with Savva and then a question mark. I didn't mean to put that question mark there. I can't change it while it's live. There we go. Well, brilliant. Anyway, a morning chat with Savva, question mark. But is this a good time to play them? Chelsea they're 2 wins from their last 3. Those 2 wins, though, by the way, were against, if I'm not wrong, Southampton and Leicester or Ipswich, one of those 2. Is it a good time to play Chelsea?
It's a hard one to say, really, isn't it? Because they've had wins against bottom teams, but they seem to be in a run of form that we just can't seem to get into. This team, our team at the moment, is in a massive purple patch. If you think about it, we can't seem to score for love or money from open play. We only ever seem to score if it's luckily from a corner at the moment. Take away the European Cup game, I don't think we've scored too many in the league recently either, have we? So it's all coming down to, can our strikers start finding the net? Can we start giving service into Solanke? Can our wingers actually start playing as wingers? I mean, seeing Aaron Lennon playing that Legends match yesterday, I might have to ask him to come out of retirement and get him to teach Johnson how to take on a man.
Yeah, it was lovely to watch a winger that beats a man, wasn't it? I mean, when we're looking lately, I mean, other than the 4-1 against Ipswich, if you look at the goals we've scored, going back to Liverpool, right? We didn't score at Liverpool away. We got 1 in the last minute against Villa away. Got 1 against United. Sorry, my dog's having a sneezing fit. 1 against Man United. We got the 4 against Ipswich. Didn't score against City. Didn't score against Alkmaar. Then we got the 2 against Bournemouth. 1 was a fluke. The other was a penalty. Then we scored 3 against Alkmaar and then didn't score. And to be honest, didn't look like really scoring against Fulham. So you're right. It is starting to become a bit of an issue that we're not scoring goals. And this free-flowing football people are talking about isn't there, is it? And it's not been great.
The free-flowing, wow. I think a plumber's come in and stuck the cog on, isn't it? You know, he's come in, fixed that. And we just can't seem to flow anymore. It's just ridiculous. Like, if this is attacking football, I'd rather go and watch Sunday League.
Yeah, I mean, it is a worry when the goals dry up. I mean, if you look at who we're scoring goals against, the 3 was against Alkmaar, who are a poor team. The 4 was against Ipswich, who are a poor team. Before that, 3 goals, that was against Elfsborg, who are a poor team. Before that, Hoffenheim, they were bottom 3 when we played them, weren't they? 3 goals. Then when you look, 3 goals against Tamworth. Before that, I'm just games where we've scored over 2 goals. Man United in the Cup. Before that, Southampton. You know, we're putting goals in, but against the weaker opposition, right?
Yeah, and it's the Tamworth game that we didn't really start doing anything till extra time, which is a worry against a non-league club. And one of their top players is a manager at Xavier or whatever it was. You're like, Jesus, man. Well played. Go and sign that kid. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, Chelsea, look, if we actually look at Chelsea, people are saying they're on a bit of a goal drought. Let's have a look at them. Yeah, they're not firing on all cylinders at the moment. They lost 1-0 to Arsenal. Before that was a 1-0 win against Copenhagen, who you would expect them to beat. Before that was 1-0 against Leicester. Before that was 2 against Copenhagen, 4 against Southampton. They only got 1 against Villa. They didn't score against Brighton. They got 1 against Brighton the game before. So, to be fair, Chelsea aren't in sensational goal-scoring form, Corey, but Spurs do have a habit of playing clubs into form, don't they? We do have this horrible habit of helping others.
Yep, we seem to be the gift that keeps on giving in the league, really, don't we? So, again, Chelsea's defence is normally quite solid. No matter what manager comes in, they always seem to have it sussed at the back with a solid keeper and a back four every year, Chelsea. So
Well,
it's
they've
one of those
conceded
things.
37 goals this year. I think the problem that Chelsea have is they tend to have to chop and change it a lot with a lot of injuries. But when I look down this list, they're not conceding loads, but they're not scoring many at the moment. And does that surprise you when you look at the likes of Palmer, Sancho, Madueke, Nicholas Jackson, Nkunku? Does it surprise you that they're not scoring more goals?
It does, because when you look at at least the midfield before you get to Nicholas, it's pace and players that can take on a man.
Yeah.
So how they're not getting more goals out of the four, especially Sancho being on loan, and then Nicholas Jackson, he was on a bit of a run, wasn't he, Jackson, at one point, and all of a sudden he started to dry up. Then Cole started drying up. I mean, he was in my dream team, Cole. Then he got injured, and everything was history. I took him out, put it back in, took it back out, put it back in. It's just the weeks that I take him out, Cole will show up and score 4 or 5 goals. You're like that.
I mean, they have missed Nicholas Jackson, haven't they? He's been injured for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. They've missed his goals. But you would still think there's enough, as you said, they got enough firepower there. I just got this horrible feeling that we're going to do what we normally do. Team can't score. Palmer on this goal drought. It's kind of,
It's written in the stars.
You know the script, don't you?
Yeah.
And I'm not being horrible about our team, but we said this before Everton. Dominic Calvert-Lewin hadn't scored for, I think it was 16, 17 games. And what happened within 13 minutes of playing Tottenham? Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets a goal. Jamie Vardy, I think, was on like 9, 10 games without a goal. Yeah, what happens? First minute
Romero
of the second half.
switches off.
No. I'm talking about the first game. This is the last game against
second
them.
game. All right, I thought you talked about the first one.
Within minutes, Jamie Vardy. And I just got the feeling, and let us know what you think in the chat. Is this what we do? Are we at the stage now where teams look at us and go, don't worry, we'll cure that against Spurs? Or is this a good time to play Chelsea? Can we go there and beat a team that is struggling to score goals the way we're struggling to score goals?
We're struggling, they're struggling. My only concern is we rock up with our strongest defenders and they end up injured again. So there's the curse of Chelsea last time. If Romero and Mickey get injured again, that's our season pretty much over in just a heartbeat, isn't it? Every team.
You say that. I don't really see a difference of when they play at the back and the others play at the back. We're still not very good when they play at the back.
I mean, Danso has been, a breath of fresh air at the back. Him and Davis looked quite solid for quite a few games. And then obviously the 2 so-called first team choices come back and it's all hands on deck for them 2 again. Yeah. I know Danso's picked up an injury and Davis does a job, but it's like Ronsil with him, isn't he? He does exactly what he says on the tin.
Again,
I mean,
look, Danso for me, he's a decent centre back. I think he's made a few mistakes. He's okay. I think he comes in and does a job. I feel like we've got a real issue at centre back, and what I mean by that is your first 2 in terms of Van de Ven and Romero always seem to be missing games. Always. You got Danso, who's got the whole heart problem going on, and he's okay. He's okay. I don't mind Danso. I think he's done okay. And then you got Dragoshin, who just completely does not suit this style of play. He wants to play in a team that are a little bit more of not a low block, but a little bit more of a
low to medium, yeah.
Yeah. A team that wants to defend. So it's kind of like we've got this mishmash of centre halves, Corey, but I don't really know. Look, first of all, let's get to this. Chelsea, do you expect to see Van de Ven and Romero both play in that Chelsea game in 10 days' time?
Yeah, I do, because obviously Romero is out with Argentina at the moment, as long as he doesn't pick up an injury or comes back with, oh yeah, I'm sick again. VDV, I don't think he's travelled with Holland, has he, Van de Ven?
So I hope not.
And that gives him that 2-week break, but then you'd want your manager in this international break, drilling or coaching, if he knows how to do that, coaching the players on what he wants. The players that are left behind need the coaching, right? So
Sure.
just got to
The
sit there
thing
and
is,
shake your head.
I think all the players need coaching, right? I think that players never stop needing coaching. Listen, I think there's people that you'll have that, you know, when you're talking about the Messis of this world, that naturally will develop, you know, but as a team, you need coaching. As a setup, you need coaching. And look, I worry that for me, Chelsea, they do have. I said this in the first game. No matter how good or bad I think Chelsea are, what Chelsea have is they've got wide men that run at you. They've
Yeah,
got wide men that run at us. And what do Spurs hate? We hate wide men that get in behind. Why do we hate it? Because
because the
our
ball's over the
fullbacks,
top.
exactly, our fullbacks are never in place. And here's the proper Chelsea fan here. Big up to you. Said Jackson is fit now. So if that's the case, you would probably expect to see Jackson through the middle with, I mean, two of Neto, Madueke, and Sancho out wide. I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm not a Chelsea fan, but Neto up against our fullback scares the crap out of me. And you just know that another winger like Sancho, who's been coming in for a lot of stick, you just know he'll suddenly have a great game against Tottenham Hotspur. You just know
All
it.
you have to do is stick him out on the right against Romero, and he's rinsing him for pace all day long.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Porro, you know. Romero doesn't really have the pace as a centre back to really track back, but that right side with Porro and Romero, all you need to do is shove like Sanchez or at least someone out with pace and have one of their defenders or midfielders ping the ball over the top, and Sancho's away, isn't he? So
Yeah, I mean, look, Joey, interesting. I mean, you've got to remember that Argentina Brazil is this Wednesday, right? As in 2 nights' time. We don't play till next Thursday. Even then, there can be no excuses of jet lag or tiredness. Play for Brazil, Argentina Wednesday night. Fly back Thursday, Friday. You're home for the weekend. You don't play for 4 or 5 days. For me, there should be no excuse. Joey Barton's gone on to say that VDVO won't start either. And just ruined his hamstring. He needs more recovery, and the club know it. I agree. The vibe has said Neto is garbage. Yeah, listen, you just know he's going to. I don't think he's garbage. I don't. I think when we say things like that about players, I think it's crazy. He's not garbage. You just know he's going to have a field day against Spurs. It's what we do. He's going to have a field day against Spurs on the channel.
oh yeah.
Phil said, of course we can go there and win. I mean, I've heard this for 34 years and we've won there once. So, yeah, sure. But Phil, you have been very wrong all season when you've been saying that you say this about every game and then we don't win many of them. So forgive me if listen, I'll take a draw. If you ask me right now, I'll take a draw immediately because we don't do well against Chelsea. We're not in good form. We're not scoring goals. And Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, they seem to raise their game. Yeah, and this is it, Phil. This is it. Neto has an appointment with Dr. Tottenham. Aussie Anche, this is it. Aussie, this is it. Everyone wanted Neto in our fan base in the summer. I wanted him. I think he's a very good winger. Listen, whether a player's garbage or out of form, 2 very different things, Corey, right?
Yeah. There's a player that form is temporary, class is permanent. The kid has class, so it just has to wake up again and find his feet in the team.
Yeah, mate, listen, I find it funny. Look, we know what Chelsea are going to do. I know what Chelsea are going to do. You know what Chelsea are going to do. Ange knows what Chelsea are going to do. I bet you he does not try and stop it. I bet you he does not put our fullbacks back to cope with their width and pace. Any money you like, we will not set up to counter it.
No, we won't. And even the guys on the International Space Station know what's going to happen. They could watch it from up there, couldn't they? So just watching down on London, what's going on.
Yeah,
I mean, every pundit, every former player, fans that can see what the pattern of plays are going to happen yet and still can't see it. I've got to shake my head every weekend. You're playing a high line, great. What, against Chelsea players with pace? Okay. Might be able to do that against like your your lower down the league teams, you know, like lower clubs in lower leagues, and might be able to get away with this high line crap. But defending to me is an art. You need to have it done properly, or it doesn't work.
Maybe though, maybe he does see it, but just doesn't acknowledge or doesn't know how to change it. You know, I mean, if we're going to look at this, there's no way in 2 years he has not seen that every team has a field day on their left wing and our right back area. Corey, there's no way. Matoma had a field day there. Sancho in the first game against Spurs had a field day there. Iwobi at the weekend had a field, not Iwobi, Willian had a field day there. Yeah, every player who plays on the left wing against Tottenham Hotspur has a field day.
Hell, even Sessegnon had a bit of a field day, didn't he?
He
bullied our centre back and our wing back and scores. Lubo,
our centre back and our wing back and scores.
Oh, Lubo, you've got the YouTube on, I think.
Our centre back and our wing back and scores.
Oh, Lubo, you've got the YouTube on, I think.
Our centre back and our wing back.
Lubo, have you got a TV on or a monitor?
No, nothing.
Lubo, have you got a TV on or?
No, nothing.
Where is that coming from?
Nothing.
Can everyone else hear that?
Nothing.
Hang on, let me mute you. I'll see if it's you.
It's not me. I muted myself.
It's you, Lubo. You need to log out and come back in. There's a horrible echo. Everything I'm saying, I can hear. Oh, that was fun. That was fun, wasn't it? All right.
Monday morning madness.
All right.
Hey,
all right.
Stanley.
Here he is. There's Stanley, the pain in my ass.
Our papa.
We have a game where I bite him, and then he spends the next 24 hours biting me with his very sharp puppy teeth.
Or finds the missus shoes.
Look, for me, I think I don't know whether or not, again, he must see it because everyone sees it. And you know everyone sees it because every team, the first thing a team does against Spurs is puts a ball down our left, down our right.
Every
That's
game.
better, Lubo, I think.
That's better, isn't it?
Lubo.
That's better, yeah. That's better. Yeah, it meant you had a tab open somewhere on your screen.
It is.
Lubo, we're just talking about Chelsea. It's not been a happy hunting ground for Tottenham Hotspur, has it, Stamford Bridge?
Last, where are we? Last 30 years, I think we've won 1, drawn 7. Or 6. I think we've drawn 6 and lost the rest.
Oh, good. Good omen.
In what, 35 matches?
In about 30 years, I think. We've won 1, drawn 6, lost the rest.
Wow.
That's almost 3/4 of the time I've been on this planet.
So, yeah. I mean, yeah, look, I'm 42, so I'm going back to 1982. But, Lubo, with that in mind, you were talking about, look, Chelsea aren't in scintillating form. Chelsea are struggling to score goals, which for me shows how bad the Premier League is, that they're still sitting fourth in the table. No one can seem to take that. Is it a good time to play them, Lubo, in your mind, bearing in mind that we're not playing very well? Is this going to be the battle of two teams who are not playing well, or are Chelsea going to turn up and we're going to let Cole Palmer off of his goal drought? We're going to give Chelsea their first big high-scoring goals game in a while.
I'd worry if we were playing Southampton.
I'm going to that match after the protest.
No, we should have enough to beat them in the following game. We never seem to get any luck against Chelsea. I mean, you know, you can go back ages. I mean, there were several games where we've come away having lost during those 30 years where we should have got some sort of result. We just never seem to get it. We just can't seem to get it past the post. Apart from that great game when Dele Alli scored 2.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
that
the
was
anomaly.
It.
We'll call that the anomaly game. But yeah, Lubo, we said like when when Chelsea came to White Hart Lane, yeah, we got the 2 goals, we pressed well, and they had was it Cucurella who had the 2 slips, and we pushed him, and then we just collapsed, didn't we? We just collapsed, and Chelsea just seemed to have chance after chance after chance. Are you expecting more of the same next Thursday?
We didn't collapse. We didn't collapse. We didn't collapse during that game. We just played our normal way. We just carried on playing the same way.
Fair enough. I mean,
we didn't stop. I remember watching the game back afterwards and listening to, I think they had Jamie Redknapp, Paul Merson, and who was the third person? Trying to think. Jamie Carragher after the game. And they were saying that Spurs were 2-0 up and they never thought Spurs would hold on.
Yeah.
And I remember Carragher saying, instead of maybe taking 5-10 minutes, take a step back, you're 2-0 up, slow it down, close down the gaps. We're playing again, we're wide open, and within 5 minutes, Chelsea pulled one back.
Yeah.
And then we were wide open. I think Sarr hit the bar, and I remember there was a ball to Udogie, and he stopped running because he would have been offside. And all the Chelsea stopped, and Sonny came back. Sonny picked up the pass.
That's it.
And came flying down. He was 1-on-1 with the keeper and put it wide. And that would have made it 2-2. The Sarr header that hit the bar would have made it 3-1. So, and then Chelsea basically had the rest of the game before Sonny pulled one back late. And but that's typical Tottenham. There is no thought. It's just play the same way for 90 minutes. There's no in-game management. There's no thought about where you are within that game. Do you hang on? Do you lock it up, close it down for the rest of the first half, come out all aggressive, start at the second half, go out and get the third goal and make it 3-1. That's just not how we play. It's just naivety, and because of that, Chelsea got all
have a plan, don't they, to contain and kill the game for 10 minutes.
I mean, we got the 2 goals basically because Cucurella slipped.
Good pressing. Good pressing.
Yeah, it was good pressing.
Yeah.
And I thought Slanky got in front of his centre back well, and Kulusevski took his goal very well, cut him from the right and put it in the bottom right hand corner, didn't he? But that was just typical. Spurs lost the game, should never have lost. It just needed a little bit of thought, a system in place, and would have come away with at least a draw. But no, that's not how we play. And you're just relying every game. You're relying on moments. You're relying on certain players to conjure up a bit of magic to get us through games and to win us games. And while he's here, that's what's going to happen. It's what's going to carry on. So,
do you know the funny thing about it is there's always that bit of hope in me that thinks, you know what, international break, we're going to go away, work on the training ground, go into the Chelsea game with a different game plan, and we're going to see. And then that hope is very quickly evaporated, Lubo, within the first 10 minutes of the game, because you know, we were just talking about this, that we know that Chelsea are going to target us with their wingers. You know it. Every team does. They're going to get the ball out wide, and all of a sudden, these wingers that are struggling, Neto and Sancho, are going to turn into prime Neto and prime Sancho for the Spurs game. You just know it, Lubo. That's the worrying thing. You know they're going to be up for it. You know Maresca would have coached it. You know he's already beaten us once by getting in behind, and that's my worry.
Well, they showed in the first game how Basuma was left on his own in midfield.
Yeah.
And there was no cover. There was no cover, and when they pushed up, they played round them. And when Spurs dropped off a little bit, they showed Caicedo. Was it Caicedo? I think playing balls in. He was playing right back, out of possession. In possession, he moved into midfield, and they overloaded. And Ange didn't have an answer. They all saw it. All the pundits saw it at half time that day. Yeah. But Ange just sat there, just sent them out to play the same way second half. And you just look at that and you just think, well, it's going to happen again and again and again. And, this season we're getting points against the bottom teams in the bottom half. And against the cuter teams with the better players, we're hardly getting any points. We've had 8 points from 13 games, I think, against the top. No, 8 from 14 games now. 8 out of 42 with Fulham. So, there you go.
It's like Danny said, though, Corey, let me bring you in here. It's like Danny said here. Surely surely any manager, this shouldn't be this manager. Surely a manager watches the last game back and goes, "This is where they're dangerous. Let's address what's happened." By the way, Phil, I don't think you get it. It doesn't matter who plays fullback for Spurs; they're always wildly out of position. Look at Spence's defending for the Bournemouth goal the other week. He was nowhere to be seen because he was so high up the pitch. For me, it's not personnel. For me, the fullback issue isn't so much personnel, Corey. It's more about they're going to be out of position. Their wingers will receive the ball in space. Willian did it last week.
And he's 37.
Who's 37. Iwobi. Doesn't matter who plays there. They will be out of possession. Our fans still haven't learnt this. This is what baffles me, Corey. We still haven't learned that it doesn't matter who plays.
Every week.
But Corey, I've heard this all year. Well, if he plays there, this happens. It doesn't matter who plays anywhere. We are the same tactics. We are wide open, and Chelsea will exploit that. I'm telling you, they will.
We'll win the odd game against the top clubs because you always do. But that's what it is. Who have we beaten in the top half this season? We beaten City and we beaten Villa, and we've drawn a couple of games with Fulham. I'm trying to think who else. Who else have we drawn with top half?
The top half. No, I'll tell you what. Let's bring the league table up, shall we? Everyone likes looking at the league table. There you go. So what we lost to Arsenal,
lost to Forest, lost to Chelsea,
lost to Chelsea,
City, lost to Newcastle,
beat City and lost to City, lost to Newcastle twice,
lost
to Brighton, lost and drew to Fulham,
lost,
beat Villa, drew with Bournemouth,
We beat Villa.
That was the other game. Drew with Bournemouth.
Drew with Bournemouth and lost to Bournemouth. Yeah.
So out of that top 10, we've won 2, drawn 2, and lost 10.
Great manager, guys.
Sorry,
top manager.
Hang on. Sorry, what was that? 2-2-6 in terms
2,
of wins.
2-2-10.
2-2-10. So hang on. So who are the only wins against? Sorry, let's go through that again. Who are the only wins against?
City and Villa. City away 4-0, Villa at home 4-1. We've lost once to Liverpool, twice to Arsenal 3, once to Forest 4, once to Chelsea 5, once to City, twice to Newcastle, once to Brighton, and once to Fulham. 10 defeats. And once to Bournemouth. So
2-2-10.
Hold on, I'm just trying to think. We played one.
Hang on, I'll tell you what, let's do it easier. Who we got left to play? We've got Liverpool to play. We've got Forest to play. Chelsea
Brighton.
to play.
Yeah.
We've got
That's 3.
Brighton to play. Villa
4,
to play. We've got 5 left, so we've played 14. Yeah, we've played 14. No, 15.
Yes. No, 14. We played 15.
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
So
Liverpool
2
1,
Arsenal 2, Forest 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, Fulham 10, Bournemouth 11. We've lost 11. So that's 2 wins, 2 draws, and 11 defeats in 15 games against the top 6.
Top 10. Wow.
Top 10.
Wow.
And if you look at the rest, we have got from the other 14 games, we've got 26 points.
Oh, I was right with 4 draws so far this season.
So what have we done then? So we've beaten Brentford twice. So hang on, here's 2 wins against Brentford.
Yeah.
We've
lost to Palace.
Yeah.
2 wins against United. That's 4 wins and a defeat. 1 win, 1 defeat against Everton. So that's 5 and 2.
Beat West Ham.
Beaten West Ham 6 and 2. Drew with Wolves 6-1-2.
Beat Ipswich
7-1, 7-1-3, 7-2-4, and 8-2-4.
And beat Southampton. There's your 8.
Yeah,
so that
won 8, drawn 2, lost 4 against the bottom half. So
Wow.
we're nearly averaging.
24 of our points have come from
Well, that's right.
half of the table. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Wow.
We're nearly, but that's about par for the course, isn't it? When you're 14th, you're picking up the points against the bottom half.
Hang on, let me just add this quickly to my banners. Right. So that was 11 wins in 15 against the top 10, yeah?
11
wins in
defeats.
15 against the top half.
Defeats, not wins.
I'm trying to be positive. 11 defeats. 11 defeats.
Remember, positivity gets you views, guys.
8 wins in how many against the bottom?
14.
8 wins in 14 against. So this clearly shows, to back up all what you've been saying, Lubo, this is what we are now. We are a 12th, 13th place football team.
Right.
We are
in Angie's words,
half side.
In Angie's words, is who we are, mate.
But if you take away the first 10 games last season, take them out, we finished 12th. So nothing's changed. We've had 55 games now. We played 55. Is it 55 or no? 57 league games under Ange for 74 points for an average of 1.3 a game, which gives you 49 points in a league season. So that's where we are.
As it stands as well. So we've not currently beaten anyone in the top 4 all season, right?
No.
Wow. I mean, you know, when you just think it can't get any worse, and when you break it down like that, that is truly atrocious, isn't it? Who have we still got to play? We've still got to play Liverpool, Forest, Chelsea,
Villa,
Brighton, Villa.
And Villa. Those 5, and then we've got the 4 from the bottom,
Palace,
which is Palace, Southampton, West Ham,
Wolves,
and Wolves.
Wow.
So,
wow.
But that gives you that's a fair assessment of where Spurs are. They've got the players who can turn it on in games against the bottom half, and do enough and create enough moments during the game to win matches. So and against the top 10, we're not good enough. The managers are cuter, the playing squads are better, obviously, because they're top half. Whatever way you want to call it, whether it's through because they're drilled, they're coached, whatever. Those squads are the best in terms of playing this season. Those 10 are obviously the best 10. And that's where we are at the moment. It's he won't stay. There's absolutely no way they can take him into next season. I just can't see it.
I mean, if this is true, I've got no reason to disbelieve it's not. 34 defeats since last January. If I'm not wrong, guys, that's 15 months.
It's 35. I think it's 35 since Chelsea. In what is it, 16 and a half months now?
Right. So that would be the November. Right. That's the November.
Yeah.
I mean, either way. So we're looking at 18 months, 34 defeats.
And then to caveat that, Poch in 5 years had 45 losses in 5.5 seasons.
30 something, I think it was.
This guy's got almost in the league and all competitions, but this guy already has about 90% of what Poch had in 5.5 years in a season and a half.
Look, it's just crazy. Look, I mean, maybe we go and beat Chelsea and that's another win against a top half team. But it's strange when you think that 2 of our best wins this season have been Villa and Man City. Like the Man City win is looking less and less impressive as the time goes on now. Now that you're seeing that Man City look like a normal team this year, right? In years gone by, Man City were formidable. And beating Man City was, oh my God, no one. Man City lose 2 games a year. Tottenham are going to be one of them. This year, let's have a look. Man City have lost 9 games.
Okay, but what are their other results at home against top clubs? And then compare our results.
Well,
and then compare ours.
I'm
Man
trying to think now
City.
off the top of my head how many games have
There you go. I'll bring it up easier. Man City results this
beaten
season.
Villa twice, haven't they? City.
Hang on. We'll bring it up. We'll bring it up. Man City, PremierLeague.com. Let's try that. Oh. What's going on there? Man City results. Gosh, I just want a long list of it. Just want a long list. Hang on. Bear with me 1 second while I find this out. Let me try BBC. Right, let's have a look then. So when did the season start? August.
August
17th.
Right,
Oh,
okay.
46,
1
17,
second.
my bad.
Hold that line. Right, so here's Man City at home. Present. Hang on, what's going on my screen? Oh, sorry, my screen's having an absolute mare. What is
I'll
going
read you
on?
out. Sav, I'll start you from the beginning of the season. Beat Ipswich at home. I'm just talking about home results. Beat Ipswich 4-1. Beat Brentford 2-1. Drew 2-2 with Arsenal. Into October. Where are we? They beat Fulham at home 3-2. Beat Southampton at home 1-0.
They're a top half team.
Yeah, beat Southampton 1-0. Moving into November. They first home defeat was Spurs. Spurs 4-0. December beat Forest 3-0. Lost to United 2-1 with those 2 late goals. Drew with Everton 1-1. Then you're into January and you've got a 3-1 home win against Chelsea. 4-1 home win against West Ham. So the home record's pretty good.
Yeah.
They lost to Liverpool. They lost to Liverpool 2-0. They beat Newcastle 4-0. So that's up to the end of Feb and March, which is where we are. They drew at home to Brighton 2-2. So what have they done? They've drawn with Arsenal. They've lost to Liverpool, and they pretty much beaten everybody else at home. Yeah. So look, it's still a good result. It's still a good result. The Spurs they're winning 4-0. That's probably our best result of the season.
I'm not saying it's not a good result, but we played them during a time where they couldn't win for about 9 or 10 games. You know, my point is, it looks like an anomaly. It's an anomaly, right? We said it ourselves. 15 games against the top half. We've won 2. Like that shows you that we can turn up when we want, but that they're not up for it. Your mate Matt Lubo's asked you a question.
Well, I'll answer that very simply, Matt. If you've watched Savva and I have a few clashes over the season, one of them has been over the strength of the squad. I downplay the strength. Sav thinks it's more to do with the coaching. I think I think our squad will be better under a better coach, but I don't think it's as good as a lot of people think it is. I really don't. I think they're only because the first 10 games. Sure. Only because there was a new manager bounce, and everybody else was, nobody understood the way Spurs were playing at the time. As soon as they saw it and got to grips with it, we got 40 points out the next 84. But
again, I'll say the same thing to you and Matt that I've said all season, and none of you said this pre-season, right? There is not a chance that all those teams above us have a better squad. There is not a chance. Not a chance in.
I don't know. I think you're too much. You're too much one way, Sav. Honestly, I think.
Hang on, but no, I'm not. Sorry, Palace, Brentford, Bournemouth, Fulham, Forest. Are we really saying they've got better squads than Tottenham Hotspur? None of you said this in the summer. None of you. No one said Tottenham won't be in the top half. No one.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. And I came on here. I came on here and I said that I made a mistake because if I'd have thought about it, and probably let my head rule my heart a bit more, I'd have seen that the last 28 games we finished 12th. So why on earth would I be thinking we're going to finish between 5th and 8th when the only person, the only player we brought in to strengthen that squad, Sav, is Solanke. So how are we going to improve? No, I'm not. How are we going to improve if we've only brought in Solanke? Then why would we improve from those last 28 games?
But Lubo, it's conflating two arguments. Hang on. It's conflating two arguments. The argument was never, is Ange a good enough manager to do it with that squad? But with this squad, Iriola, Glasner, these people that are doing it with lesser squads than Tottenham would have us in that top half easily. No one.
Top half, yeah. If you think top half is okay, so yeah, I agree with you. Maybe 6th, maybe 7th tops. That's it.
Sure.
That is it.
Sure.
That's not great, is it?
It's not great. 6th and 7th and bottom half is huge. There's like 4 spaces in between there. So this notion that I'm going to call him your mate now. This notion that your mate Matt's got that, the sooner everyone realises it's not a top 10 squad. I'm sorry. Let's break this down, shall we? Right? You've got Christian Romero, the World Cup winner who everyone raves about. Right? Mickey van der Ven, everyone thinks is wonderful. Porro, he's brilliant. He's sublime. Adogi, top quality fullback. Vicario, one of the best goalkeepers in the league. Right? Dragoshin is a Romanian international centre-half that was wanted by Bayern Munich. Everyone raves about Gray. They rave about Bergvall. Everyone raves about Kulusevski. He gets in any team in Europe. What a midfielder Kulusevski is. Sonny, he's our world-class player. Solanke, really good player. We don't play to his strength. All of these players that I'm hearing that are praised, the same people praising all these players are the same people telling me the squad isn't good enough to finish in the top 10.
So how do you compare our squad to Villa?
How do I compare our squad to Villa? I think Villa for me, with the transfer window they've had in January, have added more attacking options. Before that, I would say they were quite light in the forward areas. If you looked at it, they only really had Bailey, Watkins, and Rodgers, and before that, Philogene.
They had Duran, didn't they? They had Duran, didn't they?
Duran. Right, okay. So, but they can't all. Right, okay. So, fair enough. Then at the back, as a squad, how would you compare our squad to their squad? I would say their squad is better than ours. But I would say that their squad is playing Champions League football. Their squad has played 10 Champions League games where they don't rotate for those Champions League games. So their squad, that is, by the way, 3 points off Champions League football, right, is being pulled from pillar to post and still doing a lot better than ours. I don't think they're massively better than us as a squad. But you know what they've got? Again, they've got a coach.
Yeah, they have got a very good coach.
They've got a manager
in him.
Right, I personally think they've got a better manager, they've got a better squad. There's no doubt about it. And they are 9th.
Oh, hang on. To add, they also have a World Cup winning goalkeeper.
Hang on. But Lubo, hang on. When you're saying they're 9th, Lubo, hang on. But
they're
9th. Look how tight it is between Chelsea and Villa, right? There's a 4-point gap separating 6 teams, right? They're 9th, but they're one win away from Champions League football. We're 14th and adrift. There's a huge difference. So it's a bit disingenuous to say, but they're 9th. Look at them. Look where they're sitting.
If they have a better squad than us, and we bring in a manager who is on the same level, say, as Emery, how do we know? I mean, we don't know, do we? If any of if the Bournemouth guy comes in, can he juggle European football? We don't know because he's never had that opportunity. I don't think.
Another thing about Villa you can add, though, is Villa's
and-
board are willing
and
to do what
if-
it takes to get them up there.
But if we're up with Villa, if we're level with Villa, we're mid-table. We are mid-table.
Yeah,
You can't dress it up. The facts of it's there, Sav. If you come back to it at the end of the season and Villa finish fourth, then fair enough. But we can only talk. We can only talk about first 29 games. We've had 3/4 of the season already. Villa are 9th.
Yep, Villa are
We're
9th,
14th.
but one. They're
So
Lubo.
so with a better manager, where are we going to be, Sav? Where are we going to be with a better
hang on,
manager?
but Lubo,
With Villa?
hang on, let me answer then. Let me answer. The mental gymnastics, the mathematic gymnastics you're doing is crazy. Aston Villa, you're saying 9th as though it's terrible. They're 3 points off Champions League. 3 points. They're 11 points clear of Tottenham Hotspur, but 3 points off Champions League. Where Spurs should be for me, we should be exactly where Newcastle, Brighton are. That's exactly where Tottenham should be. And you said it, 6th or 7th. Tottenham should not be. Now, again, where I'm going to rip your argument and Matt's argument apart, I'm going to rip your argument apart really simply, right? Ipswich at home. Palace away, who hadn't won a game.
Get Palace away. Forget. I don't accept that. Don't accept Palace away.
Hang on.
Hang on.
Hang on. You might not accept it, but it's a fact. Palace hadn't won a game all season. Tottenham rock up there. Defeat. We all knew it. We said before the game. Dr. Tottenham will see them, right? Palace,
Even I've had
Ipswich,
to lose to Palace.
Leicester, Everton, Wolves, not beaten Fulham in 2 attempts. You're telling me from those 6 games alone, Spurs shouldn't have had 10 more points? Really? Are we really saying?
I would say 3. I would say we should have 5 from Leicester, 3 from Ipswich. Wolves, I don't think we deserved any more than the points.
No, but it's not about. But this is Ian. You're not listening. It's not about deserving. Wolves, who are in a relegation battle, coming to White Hart Lane, should be 3 points. That's the point. That squad we've got, I'm sorry, that squad we've got should not be winning 5 league games in 15 at White Hart Lane or whatever it is, 5 in 14. You can't tell me this squad isn't good enough for that. That's not true. We all know that.
Then what you're saying, what you're basically saying is it's all Angie's fault and nothing down to the players. I disagree. I don't think the players are as good as I think there have been some big unforced errors this season in most games. You know, you haven't seen. I'll give you an example. Wanyama at Liverpool. Ball comes out to him, bang, hits the back of the net. You could turn around and say the centre forward's headed the ball straight out, centre half has headed the ball straight out, but you can't actually turn around and say he's made a massive rip. You know, the defence is at fault. That's a worldie. How many worldies have we conceded this season? How many bad goals have we conceded defensively where our players have been really poor, really poor?
Because they're not coached. Anyone can see that. Look, this is where I struggle with your opinion, Lubo. This is where I really struggle with it. You talk about this is the worst manager you've seen in however many years you supported Spurs, but then can't apply that same logic to why the team is so crap. I don't understand it. Again, Leicester City.
The system, right. Okay, I'll give you 2 examples. Let me give you 2 examples of what I'm talking about. Let's start with Arsenal away.
I know what you're talking about, but over a season, you could look at individual errors.
Right. No, I'm just saying to you, the system has left the defence exposed. Why? Because Basuma has made an elementary mistake. Nothing to do with systems. Instead of playing an easy return pass to Spence that he should have done, he's turned into trouble, been dispossessed. Trossard's made it 2-1. We lose the game. The following week, the system has left us wide open. Dragason's on a 1-on-1. Instead of engaging, he's let the Everton boy run into the box, put the ball in the back of the net. That's the 3rd goal.
Lubo, okay, but then let's pull your argument apart then. Let's pull your argument apart. Let's pull your argument apart. let's pull your argument apart then. So if you want to use the Dragoshin one, why was Dragoshin left one-on-one with a player that's running at him with pace when he hasn't got pace? Because of the system allows that. Why did the ball get as far as Dragoshin? Because we're wide open in midfield, one ball through the middle, he's through on goal. Lubo, you can do this all year. You yourself have said this is the worst manager you've seen, right? Leicester City. Spurs should have an extra 5 points from Leicester. We should have an extra 3 points from Palace. We should have an extra 2 points from Wolves. We should have an extra 3 points from Ipswich. We should have an extra 3 points.
It's easy to say that. It's easy to throw away. We should have that.
Let me finish. Let me finish. When you're saying it's easy to say that, this is what they're there to do. They're there to win these games. There is no way Tottenham, that squad, there is no way that squad, you're going to tell me, should not be top 10. None of you. You didn't say this, Lubo, before the season started. No one said it.
No, I
Matt
made
in
a
the
rip.
chat.
I made a rip.
No, but you didn't make a rip. This squad is better than teams that are in the top 10.
But
This
if
team...
No, I said 5th to 8th. Right, Sav, we're forgetting one thing. You've got the same manager playing the same system and only bringing in Solanke to strengthen the first 11. So I made a mistake thinking, having seen us finish 12th from the last 28 games, why would I think we'd finish 5th to 8th?
Because
I got carried away by the fact we finished 5th. The manager hadn't changed. The system hadn't changed. Nothing's changed. So why are we going to think that we should fit? I made a mistake. I put my hand up and said, you know what?
Then you're not listening to my argument.
I overestimated this.
You're not listening to my argument then. My argument has never
I
been
heard your argument.
My argument isn't that I think Ange will change. My argument is the same way every bloody pundit in football put Tottenham in the top 6 predictions this season. Every pundit had us in the top 6. Every Spurs fan had us. The lowest I saw it from a few fans in my chat was 8. The lowest I saw it was somebody saying 8. Right? Even I had 7th and I got called negative. There is no way any of you truly believe this squad is so... The funny thing is, Lubo, with you come on the show after every game defending every player, but yet sit here and say the squad isn't good. If I critique Kulu, no, Kulu. Solanke, oh, no, good player. But Son, no. Van der Ven, oh, no, Bernfeld, Gray, Romero, Porro.
Have a look at your video.
Have a look at your
videos. You'll see where I critique.
Look, it's easy to do this
but
now. The players is top 10, but I was naive. But no, you predicted top 10. Matt, if we were sitting here top 10, would you be saying we're overachieving? I'm sorry. There is no way on earth any Spurs fan in the summer said this team will not finish top half. This squad is far too good to be where it is. This is absolute. This is the worst revisionism from fans. This is revisionism.
So, I think we all. I think everybody thought. I think, in fairness, I think everybody thought that Ange would look at it at the end of his first season and see where he's gone wrong and put it right in the second season. But he hasn't. He's just carried on exactly the same way.
He has,
so
yes.
It shouldn't really be the players. It shouldn't really be a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise that we are where we are. Because if the last 28 games were 12th, the next 29 games were 14th. So it's fairly consistent.
With the manager, yes, changed, not the squad. I'm sorry. Again, I'll show you this. I'm sorry. If you offered, right? Again, I'll say this to you, and no one can lie to me here. I'll know immediately who's lying. Everyone in the chat, if I had said to you all, right, we're going to swap squads in the summer with Brentford, Bournemouth, Fulham, Brighton, Forest, you would have all said, nah. You would have all said, nah. Hang on, Corey. I got battered by Spurs fans for saying that we'd finish below Chelsea, for crying out loud, right? I got battered by Spurs fans for predicting 7th, right? There is no way you would have swapped this squad with Fulham or Bournemouth or Brentford or Brighton or Forest. There is no way any of our fans were saying this in the summer. Why? Because the squad is not as bad as it's being perceived. There are going to be, I've worked with top coaches in football. They will tell you when your team is not drilled, when your players are not engaged, you're going to see more mistakes. You will see more mistakes because it's not drilled. It's not coached. They're not coached in possession. They're not coached out of possession. There's no proper backline in place. The fullbacks are out of position. The midfield's wide open. Of course, there's going to be mistakes. Of course. I'm not doubting that. No player is faultless. But to suggest that this squad shouldn't be top half with the players we've got, if you offered Brentford, Bournemouth, Fulham, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, if you offered them Kulu, Son, Bentancur, Van der Ven, Romero, Porro, Spence, Adogi, Vicario, you're telling me that they're all going to go, nah, they wouldn't get in our team. It just, come on, man. Come on.
I got a few things really to say there. Like saying Brighton are crap. They've proven themselves over the last few seasons that they're actually a really good squad and very hard to beat. They're very well coached no matter who comes in. Again, with the manager, look, Eric Dyer even come out and said this guy doesn't coach properly. It takes a former player to leave, go to Bayern Munich and be Harry Kane's bag holder to say this guy doesn't coach. So, it's really depressing, isn't it? I mean, there are some squads in that top 10 that I think, Jesus, with a proper coach, they've actually got up there. But when I look at Brighton, I know for a fact that Brighton go out and do it properly with good transfers on players that, you know, other teams don't take a sniff at. Matoma was an absolute nobody knew about Matoma. Like, come on, Brighton snapped him up for 2 million. Saicedo, Brighton got him for what, $1 million or 500k, something like that. Something really stupid Brighton paid for him and made 120 million on him. What's it? I'm trying to think of the left back at Chelsea. What's his name that brought from Brighton? Cucurella picked up for what, 10 million by Brighton, sold to Chelsea for 70. There's nearly 200 million. Then the old goalkeeper at Brighton, Chelsea snapped up for like 20 million. There you go, nearly 200
Corey,
million.
this is simple. Name me a player Ange has coached better in 2 years.
He hasn't.
Right. Other clubs, Bournemouth. If I had said in the summer we're going to have Cook and Christie as our central midfielders, nah, none of you would have wanted it. None of you. We're gonna have Fulham's midfielders, Sandberg and Lukic. Nah, none of you would have wanted it. We're gonna have Calvin Bassett at centre half. We're gonna have Willian. We're gonna have Iwobi. We're gonna have Rodrigo Muniz. This is where it's revisionism. No one wanted these players.
It's not revisionism. It's not, Slav. It's hindsight, mates. It's hindsight. We all learn as time goes along. It's hindsight. You can change your minds on situations after things happen, and you see them happen. You know, who would have thought Forest would have been third at the beginning of the season? But you can look back now. You think it's an anomaly?
What, Forest being first?
We'll find out why.
Well, sure, okay, but
Let's see what happens next year.
Sure, we'll see what happens next year. But Forest is an anomaly because no one thought they would be up there. That's an anomaly. Spurs being 14th in the table is an anomaly. This isn't where we finish year on year. 14th is not where we finish. As I said, right? It is revisionism because none of you said this in the summer. If any of you had said to me in the summer, you know what, we're going to be 12, 13, 14, I would have called you crazy, but now I'd be going, God, you were right. But you didn't. Now all of a sudden, no, we're not good enough for top half. I'm sorry. Basuma, we've seen what Basuma can do.
Having seen what I've seen between August and March, I'm now in a better position to judge than I was at the beginning of the season. And he hasn't changed the way.
Players look worse because of the manager. They're not coached, Lubo. This isn't a drilled team. How do we not see that? This isn't a well-drilled team.
It wasn't last season either. What was happening last season was that we were conceding that there were two main areas where we were conceding.
That's not the point.
Lots of goals.
Not the point.
Set pieces and counter-attacking. They seem to slow those. That's been slowed down this season. And a lot of the goals, there are far more unforced errors being made that are turning into goals that we're conceding more so this year than last season. Last season, we gave away loads of goals at set pieces, and people were countering us very, very easily and scoring loads of goals. That hasn't happened so much.
Why?
Why hasn't it happened?
No. What? Everything you're. This is what I don't get with your argument, Lubo. Everything you're arguing
Why
is
hasn't it
agreeing.
happened? I don't know.
Hang on. Everything you're arguing is agreeing with me, but then when I say yes, so it's the manager's not. No, it's the player. You're telling me this squad with a better manager isn't top half in the Premier League easily? Are we really going with that narrative?
Top half, but that's about it. It's 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th. It's not much better, Sav. It's not much better.
True. This is not true.
The manager is absolute arse. He really is.
He's horrendous. He's horrendous. But I don't think the squad is strong enough. And you can
is Bournemouth's squad better than Spurs?
Based on this year, based on performances this year, you look at the league table and you say, well, yes, it is.
That doesn't mean their squad's better. That doesn't mean that performances, because they're a well-drilled football team. Lubo.
What are you going to judge on, Sav?
Yep.
What are you going to judge teams on? Performances
Drilled
or
and coached.
what you think on paper? It's not on paper, it's on the pitch.
But Lubo, but it's not on paper. What we've seen of these players before, what we've seen of Romero at World Cups, what we've seen of Mickey van der Ven at Wolfsburg, what we've seen of Porro at Sporting Lisbon, what we've seen of Udogie at Udinese, what we've seen of Basuma at Brighton, what we've seen of James Maddison at Leicester, what we've seen of Solanke at Bournemouth, what we've seen of Son in a Spurs shirt, Kulusevski, hang on. Yes, but Lubo, we've seen how good those players are. It is the manager. We've seen how good these players are, not in this system. This is the thing. When a new manager comes in, you know immediately we will be drilled. You know we will. You know he will get a back four that can defend, right? He will not leave gaping holes in the middle of our park. Every game, Lubo, we do the same thing. Every game, and Corey and I talked about this before he came on. How will teams get a Spurs today? I know they're going to get in down the flanks. Why? Because of the system. If I know it, and you know it, and Corey knows it, and the whole fan base knows it, so does every team in world football. So then we can't be surprised when we're asking midfielders who are wildly exposed not to make any mistakes. We're asking defenders who are left one-on-one with quick players running at them to not make mistakes. Top managers limit that. Top managers don't ask Basuma to do what he can't do. They don't ask players to be left one-on-one when they're not quick. Yeah? Top managers make it very hard to beat. They have a well-drilled, well-oiled unit.
Let me bring it back.
Biggest defender as well, because I know what the guy can do. We brought him in for the player that he was at Brighton. You know, he had a defensive player behind him and an attacking player in front of him. He would get the ball from the defence or the DM, turn on a half pence and run up past the halfway line and look for a ball out to somebody else. He's been asked to run back, track back, tackle, and it's where he's making his mistakes. And then the fan base are getting on him because he's making the mistakes for a player or a position that he's not well played in. So I am Basuma's biggest fan on that one, that I know what he can do. I've seen it with my own eyes, and so has everyone else. But again, this manager doesn't understand his strengths. We've got Bentancur, since his injury, can't really play a game without worrying if he's going to go down injured again. So he's always backing out of a challenge or not really passing a ball properly. And then it just leaves whoever plays next to those two, either Maddison. You know, this system isn't working for this midfield. It really isn't. It's not working. It's not working for the back four because you haven't got that anchor, say like a proper defensive midfielder would be. You know. You can. It's all well and good playing inverted wing backs. If you've got a defensive midfielder to drop back and make that a three at the back while those two go up,
and
then
I'm all for it. Point about the mistakes, Corey. If you add a number 6 in there, someone sitting and holding, a lot of those mistakes we're talking about don't happen. You don't leave the centre backs exposed to be run at. That Everton game where we left Dragusin, look how wide open we were in midfield.
Look the good thing about the defensive midfielder Yeah, with a defensive midfielder, the defenders can drop back 5-10 yards, covering that space between the D and up to middle of the pitch before the halfway line. Or even further back, you could play like a low to medium block with a defensive midfielder in front of them, covering those two defenders while the so-called inverted wing-backs are bombing off. And, you know, those become a 3, they spread out. The wing-backs are well inclined to go up and do it because you need those players to be able to hold that position. I miss like the old version halfback, like Eric Dyer. I would always class Eric Dyer as a halfback. The guy would sit back with that defense. Okay, he wasn't the greatest player, but at least with Dyer, you got what you knew from him. He knew how to kind of defend and break up play. You need a defensive midfield player that can do that again. This system don't really work unless we get that. I just
can't believe, Corey, 2 years down the line, fans still cannot understand it's the manager's I'm truly baffled that any fan is watching this squad thinking this isn't a top 10 squad.
I've not liked Ange since day one, and I came on your show 18 months ago and said this manager isn't going to do anything for us.
I can't.
I still
the thing is,
nobody said it's not a top 10 squad. I haven't said it's not a top 10 squad. I've just said the squad's not as good as people think it is.
But when you say it's good, who has said it's? No one said it's great, other than the people doing the video saying we're going to finish second and third. No one said it's great. But as I've said, and I'll bring this up again, Tottenham Hotspur should be where Newcastle and Brighton are as a minimum. Where Fulham and Villa are as a minimum. Where Fulham and Villa are as a minimum. A minimum. There is not a chance. If you believe, Lubo, that these players are that bad that they should be losing 15 games in 29.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You're making things up now. No, I haven't. On. I've said.
Surely you must be saying that for us to be bottom half.
No. What I'm saying is that with our performances this season, we are where we deserve to be. There's no question about it. If you turn around and say we would be better, we would be higher with a better manager, obviously, that goes without saying. Are we a top 4, top 5, top 6 squad at the moment? I don't think so. I think there are far better forwards.
So you think Forest have
our leading goal scorer is Johnson. There are
Do you
far
think
better
Nottingham
players.
Forest are better than us?
Because you're a tapping merchant.
Hang on a second.
Do you think Nottingham Forest have a better squad than Tottenham Hotspur?
It's a good question. It's a very good question.
It's a really easy one. Do you think they've got a better squad?
I don't think it is. I don't.
What? You don't think Forest squad's better?
Do I think Forest squad is better? I think they've got. I mean, Gibbs White walks into our squad. Two centre backs.
Squad.
Into our first team. Gibbs White walks into our first 11.
That's not the question I'm asking.
Spurs.
It's not the question I'm asking.
Do I think it's a better squad than us?
Have Nottingham Forest got a better squad than Tottenham Hotspur?
I don't know. Is the answer. I don't know. I thought not beginning of the season. I thought we would have a much better squad. I could only answer that if they carry on with this form into next season and we have a new manager, and at the end of the season, then I can judge correctly apples to apples and see whether with two well-drilled squads, who finishes highest. It's impossible to answer now.
Some of our problems.
But I've got to tell you
something. We've not been coached. But I'm sorry. Again, right. I'll say this again.
Even though we haven't been coached, Sav, you are looking at midfield's been poor. Not just this season, last season.
There is no midfield,
really poor.
There is no midfield.
Right. No, but players are playing, they're performing poorly. You can't turn around and say because it's just
setup, Lubo. They're not in a proper setup. Of course they're poor.
That doesn't let them off 100%.
I didn't say 100%.
For how they play.
Lubo, if you're a midfielder and you go into that Spurs team now that are left with no number 6 and completely gung-ho, leaving spaces all the time, you're not going to look very good either in the midfield there, are you? We've managed to make everyone look bad and we're still not seeing it's the tactics. So Bournemouth's midfield three.
That's not what you asked. You didn't ask, is it because of the tactics? You asked about the squad. I'm just talking about the squad. I'm not talking about
Simon,
tactics.
he is saying the same as me. He won't admit it. He's saying the same thing as me. He won't admit it. He's saying the same thing. Listen, the squad we're a
top half team. We're a top half team with a decent manager. We're no better than that. The squad needs improving. The squad needs improving all over the place. All over the place.
Agreed.
The first team needs improving all over the place.
I'm sure it does. Listen, the first team does need improving. But again, look at what managers like Jose and Conte did with much worse squads. Why? Because they drilled a team. They drilled a team to get the best out of them. This manager doesn't drill the team.
You had prime Kane and Son as well. Let's not forget.
Sure. But you've
take
got
away
to
the anomaly of Kane and Son. You need to be able to drill coach players to a proper.
But hang on. So how did a team that had look at Jose's defenders he had? How did he manage to concede a lot less goals than Ange? How did he manage to get the team drilled with a lot worse players? Kane and Son are 2 men in 11. In 11, right? How did Jose manage to drill that team?
Because he also had good coaches that followed him to Tottenham as well. Yeah, he brought his backroom staff with him. Conte had that backroom staff as well.
Hang on. What would Jose and Conte do with this squad?
Make us hard to beat.
You're telling me we wouldn't be top 6 or top 5 with Jose and Conte managing these players? Really?
I don't know. Okay. Top half.
Look what they did with the shit squads they had. Come on.
We had to play Dyer and Davies at the back for so long.
Dyer, Davies, Sanchez, Sessegnon, Doherty,
let me ask you a question.
Ndombele, Winks, Skip, Sissoko, and
Doherty wasn't a bad player.
Let's take out Kane and Son from Jose's team, and let's put in Johnson and Solanke. Where do we finish? Where do you think we finish?
No, sure, I've got no doubt. But you've got to. But that's 2 out of 11, Lubo. He managed to concede.
They carried the team, Sav. These two carried the team.
Sure, but they can't stop the team not conceding goals. How did Jose get us conceding less goals? Because he got it at least organised. Look at the players. This is where it's disingenuous. Look at the players I've just reeled off.
I'm not talking about the tactics.
Let me finish a sentence, man. Look at the players I've just reeled off. Dyer, Sanchez, Rodon, Sessegnon, Doherty, Aurier, Skip, Winks, Sissoko, Lo Celso, Ndombele. This is what they had. And then Kane and Son. Kane and Son are amazing. But the problem is, how do you get the ball to them? How do you stop the ball going in at the back? Those two managed to drill a very shit squad and managed to incorporate Kane and Son. This manager's got Son, right? Doesn't know how to get the best out of him. This manager's got Solanke, who you, not me, you keep telling me he's very good. So he's got Son. He's got Solanke, who got 19 goals last year playing for a well-drilled team, right? He's got Son. He's got Solanke. He's got players that Jose never had. He's got Kulusevski, James Maddison. He's got Yves Bissouma, Rodrigo Bentancur, Van der Ven, Romero, Porro, Udogie, Jed Spence, Vicario. So why can he not get the best out of those players?
Because these players don't believe in him. Well,
they don't believe in him. They don't believe in his tactics.
The players will turn around and say, yeah, we believe it. But secretly in the back of these boys' minds, they are not on board with him.
They don't.
But I do need to wrap up the show, guys. I do. I've just realised the time. It's gone very quickly. I love a debate. Lubo, I'm seeing you Thursday night. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of football conversation when we go to the Orient. Corey, thank you very much. Guys and girls, please. I've missed the time. Please, I've just done a transfer video for Spurs on four players that I think we will look at on a free transfer, because if we don't get Europe, we won't have money. Please stay here. It will take you to that video on FHTV Plus. Do me a favor. Give it a watch for a few minutes. Smash the like button. Corey, thank you. Lubo, as always, love our debates. Take care, everyone. Please watch that video. Please like and subscribe to the second channel. Love you all. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs, and I'll be back at 6 p.m. Bye-bye.